Hi, Demonic Angel, and today I got a new light and I put it in the bottom of the camera stand here, and so I just kind of wanted to try out the new lighting, you know, see if it makes a difference or whatever, and if it does I'll just like do videos in front of different tapestries I have and I don't know, give it aesthetic or whatever, but you know, for now I'm just trying it out. So right now I'm going to do the Devil card. So number 15 of the major arcana, and you know, we've got this is really Satan in a satirical kind of light. You know, he's sort of this goofy looking, looks like a potbelly pig, and he's got chicken feet and bat wings and a goat. So it's supposed to look like a beast, and the pinnacle. Now, you know, I like to think of that as the five elements, or the five physical senses. And that's what this pentacle in the Devil card here means, is the five physical senses binding somebody, controlling them. So people are, in this scenario here, they're chasing after, lusting after, and you know, the kinds of escapism and pleasure that the five senses are a vehicle to do so. So that is, you know, the sort of this bind you kind of thing. And then we have these people, and you know, there's a ring in the middle of them. But they're, you know, they're bound by the necks. And if you look closely, you can see that if they were to remove the chains around their necks, they could take that off at any time. They don't. They are bound they're bound to each other through this codependency and bondage to the physical plane. And then, you know, their passions, their sins, the things that bind them, bears fruit. So in Eve's case, we have grapes, and in Adam's we have fire or anger. So it's the fruits of these passions, obsessions, addictions that are really in this negative sort of addictive, you know, mindset. And obviously off topic a little bit, the Devil card, this doesn't have anything to do with the ideas of Satanism or Luciferianism. I'm not going to use it that way because I really like looking at the tarot in this kind of secular, psychological way, because that was what, you know, the original, some of the closest original meanings are, and I really like that. So this isn't Satan. This is I mean, I guess it can be if you want to think about the lower polarity of what that represents. You know, the Devil is kind of like the reversed of the World card. You know, in the world you're going through all these experiences and rites of passages, relationships that are the true potential of being physical in our physical bodies and growing through another system of, or you know, another life. And that's the world. That's that, you know, it's that positive draw. And the Devil is like the negative draw of the world, which is basically addiction and escapism. So this is just kind of that idea. And upright, this is really, this card could kind of be called addiction. Now, no matter what, as a person evolves through their lifetimes, and even obviously in one life, they are able to confront, they're going to, actually I should say, a person will have to face what is basically addiction. And that is that it can be something as obvious as drugs. It can be something embarrassing like sex, or with a stigma. But it can also be something that people, like society, doesn't see as bad, like shopping, perhaps gambling, hoarding, anything that has that intention is what that's all about. A person has to really experience this at some point and then integrate that into themselves if they are going to make a use out of this confrontation with the shadow during the dark night of the soul of what addiction and whatever that means to an individual person. That is what it means to be human, to in some way get caught in the escape and then it's later be able to realize that that's what you were doing and stop that and choose your reality. That's the lesson in it when it's learned. It's not always learned. A lot of people, they never face this in the lifetime that they're currently in. They live that escapist kind of addiction thing, and they're just not ready. Our souls are all on these different paths, different progresses. They're not ready for that because it's very hard to look at yourself in this way. And there's so much freedom though from looking at your own psyche and looking into what you think your subconscious desires are and how they're affecting you. It's very fundamental to individuation, the confrontation with this. Now, one of the things that comes along with this is that oftentimes when somebody's really, let's say they're really lost in their mind, and they meet somebody else who, let's just say a guy on drugs, a drug addicted guy, and a woman who is like crazy but won't do anything to help improve the lives of others around her by facing, because that's what you do. You improve people. If you improve yourself, you obviously improve other people's lives who are around you. So this is two people who are they're in that escapist thing, set the stage of their life, and they bond together over misery. So it can be disguised too, like I love you, but somebody is, it's just not a good. This is not love, because in the end, these two characters, they're lost in their own minds together. And this is usually with the confrontation here in the devil, this is where usually one person will recognize what is happening and they're ready to face the shadow and the addiction and maybe the other person isn't. And so those people split apart because one person is not going to face that. I think of all those kinds of things I just mentioned when I'm saying the upright devil. You know, and obviously sometimes there's people who together they're mentally evolving away from the bindings of materialism, and they're gonna, you know, leave this situation together, but it's no longer bound by disguised intentions, and you can call it a party, social drinking, but it's an addiction. You know, that kind of mindset of these people they're still calling it a party right now. But that's not what's really happening. They're addicted, and it's not the physical kind of stuff. This is the mental control that an addiction slowly replaces food in a person's life as a priority. And they're unable to care about other people in that kind of state of mind because they don't care about themselves. So that's why it's very important to understand we see that things this way. Reversed, this to me is when we're looking at perhaps two people who have let's say had these issues of addiction, and they've come out better, more, you know. So these are two individuals meeting, and they can share that experience to elevate each other and others, because that is really what they saw in that. When people who have faced the addictions, the dark night of the soul, really done the shadow work meet, it's where a lot of great friendships blossom, romance, spiritual mentorship, you know, any kind of thing like that, because that's a place of real learning, to look and see where your own problems are in your life and that kind of thing. It's just not easy to do. So it's a real elevating thing to meet other people who have that way. And, you know, it obviously can also be somebody meets somebody who makes them want to be better than what they're doing. So this person is, you know, whatever, drinking, and they see, let's say, another person having a normal emotional life. Sad when appropriate, happy when appropriate. That will make them want to strive to find a way to get better so they can have normal feelings. And that kind of aid, because that's really, you know, if somebody's going to actually, reverse here, take your advice and you help them, it's a very noble thing. But obviously know the line between codependency and that kind of thing, and then actually helping somebody. So, you know, it's really digging, reverse for me, this is really digging deeper. Looking for, when a person, this is when they're actually saying, this isn't partying anymore, I'm lying to myself that I can, you know, I'm just having a good time, I can stop, it doesn't affect me. You know, this is looking at that and calling it what it really is, lies. And that's the first step to healing. This is the first step to rebirth. The acknowledgement of something as it truly is, not what we just call it, not what pop culture calls it, what is really going to be your evolution. And you face that part of it, and it's a very critical part in individuation. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that interpretation, and I'll see you guys later.